The First Crusade achieved its goal by occupying Jerusalem, and we saw how that happened in the previous two episodes, but how the Fatimids would respond and what the Crusaders would do to counter the Fatimid reaction. The fall of Jerusalem caused a great dispute between the Crusader leaders over the ownership of the city, and two candidates emerged, Godfrey and Raymond. Without spending so much time talking about this dispute, leadership eventually passed to Godfrey, while Raymond and Robert left for Jericho. The Fatimids were not satisfied with the fall of the Holy City, so they prepared an army of several races, including Arabs, Seljuks, Kurds, Persians, Ethiopians and Armenians, forming an army of 20,000 soldiers. On the other hand, the Crusaders distributed their spies all over the region until they were able one day to capture two Egyptian scouts who gave secret and important information about the preparation and tactics of the Egyptian Fatimids. Upon learning about the strength of the Fatimid army, Godfrey wrote to Raymond and Robert in Jericho and called them to forget their differences and come to protect the Crusader army from perishing. After much hesitation, Raymond responded to Godfrey's request, and together, accompanied by Patriarch Arnulf of Chalks, they set out an army of 10,000 soldiers and marched to Ascalon. The Fatimids did not know that their plans had been revealed, and they thought that the Crusaders were still in Jerusalem, and the plans was for the Muslim army to march and besiege their enemies in Jerusalem. But at the dawn of August 12th, the Crusader army reached Ascalon, with Godfrey on the left, Raymond on the right, and Tancred in the middle. The infantry lined up in the front row, in front of the heavy cavalry. Surprisingly, the Crusader army launched a surprise attack on the Fatimid army, which was still sleeping in its camp outside the walls of Ascalon. After a long struggle to form their ranks, the Fatimid infantry was finally able to line up for battle after losing a large number of men, while the cavalry could not engage in the battle because they were not ready in time. The Fatimids resisted for a while, and a contingent of infantry managed to break through the ranks of the Crusaders, but this did not last long. Within 1 hour, the Crusaders reached the Muslim camp and seized the vizier's tent and his personal belongings, including his sword. The battle was in the process of ending with the complete collapse of the Fatimid army. The remaining of the survivors entered Ascalon. The historian from Damascus, Ibn al-Qalani, estimated the losses of the Fatimids in the battle at 12,700 dead, compared to minor losses in the ranks of the Crusaders. The victory of the Crusader forces in the Battle of Ascalon tempted Godfrey to besiege the city in order to occupy it, after the first Muslim attempts to recapture Jerusalem had failed and ended in complete defeat. The people of Ascalon were ready to surrender the city to Raymond exclusively, because he was the only one who showed mercy to Muslims on the day of the fall of Jerusalem. Godfrey feared that Raymond would turn from an ally to an opponent in an area adjacent to Jerusalem. He refused and insisted on entering the city by the sword. Indeed, the Christians attacked Ascalon and harassed it, so its inhabitants had to stand up to defend it and resisted the invaders fiercely and bravely. This fierce resistance resulted in more than 2,700 martyrs among the people of Ascalon. Not being able to defeat the brave people of Ascalon, the Crusaders were forced to lift the siege on the condition that the Fatimids in Ascalon pay a tax of 20,000 dinars annually. Therefore, the Fatimid garrison in Ascalon remained a thorn in the waist of the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem and did not fall until the year 1153, where it will be soon liberated by the leader Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi. The Battle of Ascalon was the last battle of the First Crusade, which culminated in a resounding success for the Crusaders. The echoes of this victory spread throughout Europe. Christians gathered from everywhere to come to Palestine to protect the Holy Land. And with the end of this video, the series of the First Crusade ends, and do not forget to share, like and subscribe to Mining History channel.